I have also added occasional notes to help you grow in your ability to read poetry and to enhance your love for it. I have slightly adapted some poems from the first person plural to the first person singular, from we, us, to I, me, to make them just a little bit easier to pray. It is my hope and my confidence that these poems will serve you as well as they have served me, that you come to treasure them as you pray them as the expression of your own heart. To that end, perhaps it is fitting that we should turn first to a poem that can teach us about prayer. What is prayer? Why should you pray? And how can you grow in your desire and ability to pray? James Montgomery would like to teach you. Why don't you read the poem, then pause to make the words of the final stanza the prayer of your own heart. Prayer is the soul's sincere desire, unuttered or expressed, the motion of a hidden fire that trembles in the breast. Prayer is the burden of a sigh, the falling of a tear, the upward glancing of an eye when none but God is near. Prayer is the simplest form of speech that infant lips can try. Prayer, the sublimest strains that reach the majesty on high. Prayer is the Christian's vital breath, the Christian's native air, his watchword at the gates of death. He enters heaven with prayer. Prayer is the contrite sinner's voice, returning from his ways, while angels in their songs rejoice and cry, "Behold, he prays." The saints in prayer appear as one, in word, in deed, and mind, while with the Father and the Son, sweet fellowship they find. No prayer is made by man alone, the Holy Spirit pleads, and Jesus, on the eternal throne, for sinners intercedes. O Thou, by whom we come to God, the life, the truth, the way, the path of prayer thyself hast trod. Lord, teach me how to pray. May God answer that prayer through the pages of this book and the poetic prayers it contains. Reading and understanding poetry. Poetry is not prose. Prose is writing in its most common and familiar form. It is written in sentences and paragraphs and does not rely on meter or rhyme. Though it can still be rich and beautiful, it tends to express ideas plainly and functionally, without depending upon imagery and illusion. The words you are listening to right now are prose. Poetry, on the other hand, is written in lines and stanzas and typically has some pattern of meter and rhyme in which each line follows a familiar rhythm, and the final syllable of a line may rhyme with one or more others. In this collection, at least, each of the poems has an identifiable meter and a distinct rhyme scheme. I have deliberately chosen poems that are relatively simple in both content and form. Poems also tend to rely on imagery and illusion, so that instead of providing plain expressions of truth, they paint pictures with words. And through their use of all of these techniques, poems tend to evoke emotion in a way prose does not. That makes poetry especially powerful. The best poetry uses words to engage our minds, and the poetic form to engage our hearts. Many wonder what the difference is between poems and hymns. The answer is not much. Hymns are essentially poems set to music. Many of the great hymns of the Christian faith were written first as poems and only later adapted for singing. In this collection, I have included a few lesser-known hymns, but generally avoided the ones that are more familiar. Here are a few tips on learning to read and enjoy poetry. Poetry is at its best when read aloud. When that is not possible, read it with your mind engaged, as if you were reading it aloud. Try to immediately identify the meter and the rhyme scheme. Read with the meter in mind, but don't overdo it.